Hello students, this is the last part of module 2. In this last video, let us discuss machine independent loader features, loader design options as well as some implementation examples. First, let us discuss about automatic library search. Many linking loaders can automatically incorporate routines from a subprogram library into the program being loaded. Suppose there is a user program which has been loaded into the memory for execution and it requires some library functions, they can automatically incorporate it. In most cases, there is a standard system library that is used in this way. Other libraries may be specified by the control statements or by the parameters to the loader. There will be special commands to include uh, required system libraries. These subroutines called by the program being loaded are automatically fetched from the library and then linked with the main program and then loaded. That is it is a three-step process: fetch, link and load. First fetch from the standard system library, link with the main program is nothing but user defined program, and then load it into the memory for execution. Linking loaders that support this particular process, automatic library search, must keep track of external symbols that are referred to but not defined in the primary input to the loader. External symbols, where we can get external symbols, they are already present in the ES tab, external symbol table, which is constructed during pass 1 of loader. At the end of pass 1, the symbols in the ES tab that remain undefined represent unresolved external references, which are undefined represent unresolved. The loader searches the library or libraries specified for the routines that contain the definitions of these symbols and processes the subroutines found by this search exactly as if they had been part of the primary input stream. The process just described allows the programmer to override the standard subroutines in the library by supplying his or her own routines. It is also possible to change or override the standard subroutines by the programmer. This is about automatic library search. In most cases, special file structure is also used in the libraries. This structure contains a directory that gives the name of each routine and a pointer to its address within the file. Some operating systems can keep the directory for commonly used libraries permanently in the memory. This can expedite the search process if a large number of external references are to be resolved. Now, let us discuss some loader options. Many loaders allow the user to specify options that modify the standard processing. A basic loading algorithm or basic loading functions we have already studied in the previous video. Some loaders also allow the user to specify options that can modify the standard processing. So what are those? Many loaders have special command language that is used to specify the option. Sometimes there is a separate input file to the loader that contains such control statements. Okay, so separate input file will be there. In that input file, control statements will be there. Sometimes these same statements can also be embedded in the primary input stream between object programs. That is also possible. Another way, on few systems, the programmer can even include loader control statement in the source program. So sometimes it is also possible to include loader control statements in the source program itself. On some systems, options are specified as a part of the job control language that is processed by the operating system. So if suppose we are following the last one, then what about this job control language? What are the commands to change the loader options? We'll see in the next slide. So this is about the command language. Include. If you want to include a library or a program, you can use this command. Include, write all the letters in capital letters followed by program name. This will include the designated object program from a library as a part of input. If you don't want some control sections or the user defined sections, then you can use delete command. It is the format delete followed by name, control section name. So this command will delete the named control section from the set of programs being loaded. Now change command, change followed by name1 and name2. Replace the external symbol name1 with name2. Then library followed by library name. Specify alternative libraries to be searched. And finally we have no call, name1, name2, etc. Instruct the loader that these external references are to remain unresolved. These are the 5 important commands. Now let us see one example for all these commands. Suppose there is a set of utility subroutines is made available on the computer system. Two of these, like read and write, are designed to perform same functions as RDREC and WREC. RDREC used to read the contents from one input file, and WREC used to write those contents to the output file. Sequence of loader commands could be used to make this change without reassembling the program. RDREC and WREC can be changed to read and write. How to make change? Let us see. First, try to include read utility. Read, it is a utility library, so include read. Include write. After that, delete RDREC as well as WREC. It is also possible to give more than 2 commands for delete command. Okay, so delete RDREC and WREC. Now we are going to change the name of RDREC and WREC by read and write. So change RDREC to read, change WREC to write. So now RDREC and WREC have been changed to read and write. At the same time, they are also deleted. Now, another important topic in this module is about linkage editors. As well as let us study the differences between linking loader and linkage editor. Very important topic, this one, listen carefully. Linking loader performs linking and relocation operations including automatic library search if specified, and loads the linked program directly into the memory for execution. So that means here there will not be any intermediate file. Once linking, relocation and loading is completed, that is directly happens in the memory. There is no separate executable file. Whereas linkage editor produces a linked version of the program. It is also called as load module or an executable image, which is written to a file or library for later execution. That is the main difference. In the linkage editor, there will be an executable file as an intermediate step. When the user is ready to run the linked program, a simple relocating loader can be used to load the program into the memory. Once everything is ready, that is you are ready with the intermediate file, then it has to be loaded with the help of relocating loader. This means that loading can be accomplished in one pass with no external symbol table required. This approach reduces the overhead when the program is executed. All that is required at load time is very simple form of relocation. Now with this picture will explain the difference between linking loader and linkage editor. Because consider this figure, this is linking loader. What main function of linking loader is to link object program and some automatic system libraries and then load it into the memory for execution. So immediately after linking process, the program is loaded into the memory for execution. You cannot see an executable file over here. But in case of linkage editor, what happens, you see, object program and some system libraries are linked together, okay, with the help of linkage editor, and it will produce a linked program. Okay, an executable file will be produced. That executable file is loaded into the memory with the help of relocating loader. Here we require relocating loader. Here we don't want relocating loader. Here there will be an intermediate file called linked program. Here there is no intermediate file. If you want the differences like this, I can go through. It produces a linked version. Linkage editor will produce linked version, whereas here there is no linked version. It performs all linking and relocation operations and loads the linked program directly to the memory for execution. Here, loading can be accomplished in one pass with no external symbol table. So, it causes less overhead. But here there is more overhead since this linking loader directly loads the program into the memory for execution. So, more overhead. Resolution of external references and library searching are performed only once here. Here, any number of times. Linking loader searches the libraries and resolve external reference every time the program is executed. Next 3 points. Linkage editor can also be used to build packages of subroutines or other control sections that are generally used together. Then linkage editors allow the user to specify that external references are not to be resolved by the automatic library search. And finally, they include a variety of other options and commands. These are the differences between linkage editor and linking loader. The diagram followed by the differences. One more topic which is called as dynamic linking. We already studied linkage editor and linking loader in the previous section. So linkage editor performs linking operations before the program is loaded for execution. That is, it will happen during compile time, that is static. But linking loader perform linking operations at load time or runtime or execution time. Now, what is this dynamic linking or dynamic loading and load on call? This will postpone the linking function until execution time. Linking will happen during execution time only. A subroutine is loaded and linked to the rest of the program when it is first called. It's something like our cache memory. Okay, let us take one example for this dynamic linking. This is also a very important topic. Now, consider this figure called as figure A. So, in this figure, you can see a user program and dynamic loader, which is nothing but part of operating system. Okay, two parts here. One is user program, another one is loader or the part of operating system. Whenever a user program calls a function, here we call load and call. Load as well as call as user defined function error handler. Okay, user program is going to call a function error handler with the help of load and call function. Okay, load and call command. Then what happens here? Observe the arrow mark. User program is going to call a function error handler and the control goes from user program to dynamic loader or the OS. Instead of executing a jump to subroutine instruction referring to an external symbol, the program makes a load and call service request to OS. The parameter for this request is the symbolic name of the routine to be called. So the parameter for this load and call is error handler. What happens next? This is figure B. OS examines its internal table to determine whether or not the routine is already loaded. Okay, first the OS will check whether this error handler is already loaded. If it is not loaded, then it will load from the standard library. If it is already loaded, then the OS will make use of error handler, which is already, cache concept. It will make use of the error handler which is already loaded. If necessary, the routine is loaded from the specified user or the system libraries. Now, dynamic loader will search the library for error handler and load it for the user program. Now, what happens next step? This is the next step, first step. Control is then passed from OS to the routine being called. Okay, dynamic loader or the OS will transfer its control to the error handler routine. Now this error handler routine will execute in the next step. When the called subroutine completes its processing, okay, error handler completes its processing, it returns to its caller. So control will be returned to its caller. Who is the caller for error handler? That is dynamic loader. OS then returns the control to the program that is issued to the that issued the request. See, error handler will return the control to the operating system. In turn, this operating system will return the control to the user program. Okay, first this arrow mark and next this arrow mark, because the user program called the function error handler. It is loaded with the help of dynamic loader. So after finishing, error handler will return the control to the OS or the dynamic loader. In turn, dynamic loader will return the control to the user program. This is the last step. Control may simply be passed from the dynamic loader to the called routine. From the dynamic loader to the called routine. If a subroutine is still in the memory, a second call to it may not require another load operation. As I explained earlier, if it is already there in the memory, then the second time if a function is called, see here in this particular step, you consider user program calls error handler again. So control is given to the dynamic loader or the operating system. The operating system will first search whether it is already present in the memory. Yes, now error handler is already present in the memory. So the control is directly given to the error handler without going to load error handler routine from the library. Got the difference from previous figure to this figure? Previously here, first time it is calling, so the control is like this. Dynamic loader will load the error handler from the library, but now directly from the memory to the routine error handler, because it is already there. So this is about dynamic linking. Now it is the last part of our module 2. Implementation examples means some examples for linkers. MS-DOS linker, SunOS linker and Cray MPP linker. So what is this MS-DOS linker? It is the linker for MS-DOS operating system. MS-DOS link is a linkage editor that combines one or more object modules to produce a complete executable program. Okay, so whenever a user program is very lengthy, it can be divided into different submodules. So we require this MS-DOS linkage editor to combine one or more object modules to produce a complete object program. This executable program has the file name extension .exe for executable. Link can also combine the translated programs with other modules from the object code libraries. Now this is snapshot of MS-DOS object module, very important. Try to remember this. Record types and description. The ADR. Translator header similar to the header record in SIC bar XE. Okay, the ADR is the record of MS-DOS linker whose functionality is similar to the header record of SIC bar XE. I think you remember header record of SIC or SIC bar XE. What does it contain? Letter H followed by starting address followed by length of the entire object program. Type def, which includes type definitions for external symbols. Pub def, this is for public definitions of external symbols defined in the object module. Followed by ext def, information about data and external references. L names, list of all segments and class names used in the program. Segdef describes the segment in the object module including name, length and alignment. Then group def, grouping of segments. LA data, similar to the text record of SIC bar XE. Text record contains letter T followed by starting address of the first instruction of that text record followed by listing of all the object codes. LI data, translated instruction and data that occur in the repeated pattern. Fix UPP, resolve external references, contains relocation and linking information and must immediately follow these two, LE data and LI data record to which it applies. Last one is mod end of the object module. These are all the record types for MS-DOS object module. Second type of linker is SunOS linker. It is a linker for Spark systems. There are two different linkers, link editor and a runtime linker. What are the functions of link editor with respect to SunOS linker? It is commonly invoked during compiling of a program. Link editor of SunOS linker is always invoked during compiling. It takes one or more object modules and produces a single output module. As the name indicates, linker, it is a linking process. It takes one or more object modules and produces a single output module. Output module may be one of the following types. What are the different types of output module of SunOS linker? It can be relocatable object module, which is suitable for further link editing, or it can be static executable with all symbolic references bound and ready to run, or dynamic executable where some symbolic references may need to be bound at runtime, or shared object. It provides services that can be bound at runtime to one or more dynamic executable. So, output module of SunOS linker can be any of these four: relocatable object module, or static executable, or dynamic executable, or shared object. And then the second part of SunOS linker is runtime linker. It is used to bind dynamic executables and shared objects at the execution time. Also inspect the shared objects to detect and process any additional dependencies on other shared object. If we have two or more shared objects, then runtime linker will detect and process any additional dependencies on other shared object. It provides an additional level of flexibility for the user and reduces the amount of overhead required for starting a program. Last one is called as Cray MPP linker, MPP for massively parallel processing. It is a linker for Cray T3E systems. T3E system contains a large number of processing elements. Each processing element has its local memory, something like distributed memory. Any processing element can access memory of all other processing elements. Fastest access time always results from a processing element accessing its own local memory. An application program on T3 system is normally allocated a partition consisting of several PEs. I will show you. So this figure will depict the data shared between processing elements PE0, PE1, PE15. Okay, like that we have processing elements. Shared data means data divided among PEs, and private data means data not shared by other PEs. When a program is loaded, each PE gets a copy of executable code for the program, private data and shared data. Okay, whenever a program is loaded, with respect to this Cray MPP linker, each PE like PE0, PE1, PE15 gets a copy of executable code. A1, A2, A3, etc. are like shared data or the private data. Now go through this figure. This is the snapshot when a T3 program is loaded on multiple PEs. PE0 is having code section, private data section and shared data 0. Shared data 0 means it is local to PEO0 and global to PE1 and PEN. Each and every processing element has its code section as well as a private data section. This is private data and this is shared data. This data can be shared by any other processing element, whereas this private data cannot be shared between PE0 and PE1. Similarly, PE1 has got its private data and shared data. The shared data 1 can be shared by PE0 or PEN, whereas private data cannot be shared. This is about Cray MPP linker. So this is all about module 2. So let us discuss our VTU question paper questions which have been asked in previous years. These two question paper snapshot I have put over here. Let us discuss. You have to give more concentration on the following topics. That is, write pass1 and pass2 algorithm of a linking loader. Okay, both pass1 and pass2 algorithms are important along with its working. Then today's discussion, dynamic linking with all the figures, figure A, B, C, D, etc. Automatic library search, some points related to automatic library search, and loader design options in the sense the commands, command language, include, delete, change, etc. Commands we have discussed now, that one you have to write. Okay, dynamic linking, automatic library search and loader design options. Write SIC bar XC program for bootstrap loader. We have discussed in the first video, that is how to convert a given string into hexadecimal with the help of bootstrap loader. 0 to 9, there is no change. Then 10 to 15 can be converted to A to F by subtracting 7 and comparing with the ASCII value of 0, that is 48, and all that program with the comments you have to write. Then another question, MS-DOS linker and CRE-MPP linker, that just now we have discussed. What is loader? Definition of loader. What are the advantages and disadvantages? Explain bootstrap loader with the algorithm. See, bootstrap loader is asked twice, here as well as here. Enlist any 4 different loader option command. Here ask loader option, here also loader design options. Once again, definition, linking loader and dynamic linking. The linking loader, dynamic linking is asked here. Then another question, explain the working of linkage editor and linking loader. Figure followed by explanation. Again repeated question. Write the data structures and pass2 algorithm for linking loader. Only pass2 is asked. So give importance for pass1 and pass2 algorithm. Then bootstrap loader. Then dynamic linking, linking loader and linkage editor. Then MS-DOS linker, CRE-MPP linker, SunOS also we have discussed. Okay, then loader design options. These topics are very important if you study properly. And one more thing, this is a theoretical module. So those who like theory can study this module properly. You can easily score on this particular module. So this is the end of all modules. All the best for your exams. Study well. Happy learning, my dear students. Thank you. Thank you once again.